We all know that exercise is good for biological business. The question is, how good? It's kind of like being impressed by hearing how much money someone makes and then finding out how much they actually make after taxes and monthly subscriptions. A pretty big difference, I know. So, we're going to see what that difference is when it comes to the age of our brain and why the X factor may be starting early. Let's go. Yo, 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 what is up? Welcome back to another week of How to Health. My name is Kevin. I run LiftandBalance.com, where we take aim at all things health and longevity and do it in an odd, weird, interesting, and highly sarcastic way. Today, we venture back into the VIP section of the body, the cranial lounge. Got a nice ring to it, doesn't it? Looking to see if some badonkadonking here and there can keep this exclusive club top notch and open for longer. Oh, and we're of course going to do this by leveraging everybody's favorite thing, AI. Well, at least partially. Because the researchers from this new hot off the scientific streets preprint study that we're going to review today used an open source brain aging model to assess brain predicted age difference, or BPAD, in participants before and immediately after an exercise intervention. And if you're wondering what information they could have fed this model, it's probably the best and most useful data that we have to provide a holistic view of the brain, along with identifying any changes which may have happened to it. The main data used was from comprehensive MRI imaging, which is expensive and time-consuming, making the fact that researchers were able to recruit, test, and analyze over 130 participants and track them for over 12 months pretty awesome. And since we already started basically getting into it, we'll skip my normal longevity banter about exercise's bio-boosting effects and just jump right into the rest of this study. How's that sound? Exploring if predicted brain age was swayed in either direction as a byproduct of a little badonkadonking. And to do this, 130 healthy individuals between the ages of 26 and 58 were randomly assigned to either a moderate intensity aerobic exercise group or a health information control group, the former participating in 2 monitored 60-minute aerobic sessions per week, with encouragement to do additional home exercise which would get them to 150 total minutes per week, and the latter group just receiving some healthy coaching. Now, when it came to the exercise itself, it consisted mainly of jogging, running, and biking, reaching an average max heart rate per participant of 74%, putting it comfortably in the moderate intensity exercise bucket. And to assess brain age as well as potential modulators of said brain age, researchers collected cardiovascular, neuroimaging, and physical measurements for both groups before and after the intervention. As alluded to, this includes MRI imaging, but also the gold standard of cardiovascular fitness assessments, VO2 max, and the long-time imperfect physical assessment of BMI, or body mass index. Now, the other important factor to point out here is that the average age of participants in this study was 41, something that is interestingly rare when it comes to brain aging assessments, as most studies which assess the age of one's 5-pound mushy membrane tend to be performed in a demographic which is dealing with the issue a little more directly, aka older individuals. So, something to keep in mind, and potentially something we'll come back to later. With that, what did they find? Well, first, that the 12-month, 2-day-a-week exercise stint decreased brain aging by a whopping 0.6 years, according to the brain predicted age difference machine learning model, of course, which may not sound like a lot, but is pretty impressive. Think about it. Around 7 months of decelerated brain aging as a byproduct of spending 1% of your week intentionally exercising. Yeah, 1%. I mean, come on. Now, moving on to the signals responsible for this deceleration is where things got a little fuzzy. First, As predicted, they observed that a higher cardiorespiratory fitness, measured in VO2 max, was associated with a younger brain age, which is consistent with cardiorespiratory fitness's overall association with longevity, indicating that a structured 12-month aerobic exercise program could promote a younger appearing brain based on MRI features of brain structure. However, when they tried to find the signal in the data that supports this, or any other clear driver, they did not find evidence that any of their proposed pathways, which, as a reminder, were changes in cardiorespiratory fitness, body composition, blood pressure, and brain-derived neurotrophic factor, directly mediated the beneficial changes in brain predicted age difference. Huh, you don't say. And adding to this cloud of uncertainty, a recent separate study reported no significant changes in brain age after a 6-month exercise intervention in a cohort of cognitively normal older adults, about 20 years older on average than the participants in this study, bringing a few questions to the forefront. Specifically, how much exercise intensity, duration, and individual variables play a role in influencing the brain age deceleration of exercise, and if time of life when deployed matters too. For example, if an exercise intervention deployed earlier in life is significantly better at decelerating brain age than one deployed later in life. All questions that future studies will have to hash out. That being said, the main message that I personally get from all this is that right here, right now, is the perfect day to start or continue your exercise endeavors. Because, as I alluded to just moments ago, time is likely your best friend here. And just think, if these exercise-induced brain effects are even remotely linear in their benefits, that's a significant and growing preservation in brain function compared to your normal trajectory if following the standard sedentary Western lifestyle, essentially increasing your probability of delaying cognitive decline and disease onset, being able to live the life which seems to fly by to your true potential for longer. Oh, and minimize the daily depressive, anxious, and stressed out experiences along the way. Because we know from all of our other deep dives on the topic, every time you move your body in an intentional and methodical way, you trigger a flurry of biochemical goodness which makes it biologically harder to feel like shit, simply because you are driving cellular and metabolic efficiency through lifestyle. And one of the most powerful prescriptions on the planet to do this is free and at your disposal. So use it, damn it, or risk losing it. Your mood, feel, cognition, muscle, and physical ability, that is. Which I don't think any of us want to do, right? See this video here if you need a little reminder. Now, you may be wondering, or may have been wondering before I distracted you with this Remember the Titans like midlife halftime speech. You're welcome, by the way. If cardiorespiratory fitness, physical alterations, and upticks in neuronal signals were not the direct reason for brain age decreasing, then what was? How is exercise actually making the brain biologically younger? Well, to be honest, there are a lot of potential reasons. And it's important to understand that calculating changes in brain aging is still a very much imperfect science. Yes, we have models that were built on large data sets to help us, but there still is no single source of truth. And it's probably going to be like that for a while. So grains of salt must be had at all times when discussing the topic. That being said, we do know that bouts of exercise increase the secretion of neurotrophic factors which support neuronal growth, survival, and plasticity, aka the ability to make new connections, creates an environment for new neurons to pop up, via adult neurogenesis in regions such as the hippocampus, improves cerebral blood flow, which ensures better oxygen and nutrient delivery to brain tissue, enhances mitochondria function and efficiency, stimulates recycling and cleanup pathways such as autophagy and mitophagy, reduces inflammation and the propensity of neuronal damage, preserves brain volume, especially in areas that are prone to atrophy, enhances sleep quality, which is associated with brain detoxification, and a whole lot more. So within that exercise-induced soup of cellular and metabolic benefits, it's safe to say that the correlation to a deacceleration of brain aging makes sense. And as I mentioned before, the secret sauce here is to simply move. And yes, the movement will be more effective if combined with the other foundational components of health and longevity: eating real whole nutrient-dense foods, getting high-quality circadian aligned sleep, and spending more time out and about in nature. But simply moving your ass and doing it consistently can and will go a long way. So try and figure out a way to make it part of your life. And if you happen to be stuck and need a little guidance, don't sweat it. We've got a war chest of deep dives to assist, all of which will be linked in the show notes below. However, this one, covering how to add more movement into your day and build it into a repeatable routine, is a good place to start. Because the reality is, you are probably taxing your brain with totally preventable lifestyle factors. Taxes that you can take to a lower bracket by owning your health. And why wouldn't you want to keep your hard-earned cognitive cycles for yourself and keep them for longer? And I don't know about you guys, but 1% of your week seems like a pretty good investment now, since we put it that way. Go move.